You're listening to TurkishSoccer.com's Turkish Football and Turkish Super League podcast. Hello, everyone. Welcome to a brand new season. We're with you again for next 15 minutes. This will be the first podcast for 2023-2024 season. This is the only podcast that talks about Turkish Super League and Turkish football in general. A lot of podcasts out there talks about Fenerbahçe, Beşiktaş, and Galatasaray, but this is the only podcast on your favorite app that comes to you every week for 15 minutes, give you insight, information, and also the highlights, preview, and review of the league. So, again, welcome. 2023-2024 season in the Turkish Super League will start this coming Friday. And before we get to the matches, I would like to give you some information about the transfers. As we speak, the transfer is still going on in the Turkish Super League. There is going to be 20 teams this season in the Turkish Super League. So get ready for 40 matches. In between them, there will be European competition matches, Turkish Cup matches, and I think the teams that play in that three different leagues, they will have at least probably close to 50, 60 matches if they go all the way up. So stay tuned. This is just beginning. But before we go into the week one, the transfer season has been crazy in Turkish Super League. I would say right out, I will come out and right out say it to you. The champions of the transfer season, if you ask me, and I'm not even a Galatasaray fan, it's the Galatasaray. Because it's right now, as we speak, they're in dealing with one of the famous players in the Europe, Tete, most likely. He will be the last, might not be the last one, addition to Galatasaray team. But so far, Galatasaray is in the first place spending money. They are spending money crazily. So let's look at what they got. As you know, the player that gave them the last season's championship, Icardi, came back after all that hoopla, dealing with PSG, dealing with Icardi's wife and his agent. They finally made a deal with Icardi. They did pay a lot of money, if you ask me. They got Icardi for next 3 years. So we will see what Icardi will do with Galatasaray this season. Also, former Beşiktaş player who played for Beşiktaş, who's played in Germany, Halil Dervişoğlu. He will be playing for Galatasaray. Zaha. And you have Bakambu. And you have Zaniola. And former Gaziantep Spor keeper also who started his career as a goalkeeper in Beşiktaş, Günay Güvenç. Goalkeeper signed with Galatasaray. And from Germany, Kerem Demirbay also signed with Galatasaray. And as I said, as we speak right now, it is Wednesday afternoon in United States, and it is like close to nighttime in Turkey. Pretty much, I would say 90%. They signed Tete. The only problem they have, Tete and his agent agreed with his contract. They are figuring out the details with his club in Ukraine, Shakhtar, and also FIFA, because there's some rules that have to go through FIFA. So most likely, I think that's what's going to happen. Tete most likely will sign with Galatasaray. As far as Fenerbahçe, it's the second team that has been making noise in transfer season. And the most valuable player they signed, Edin Dzeko, and Dusan Tadic, and also Ryan Kent and Zajic. So Fenerbahce did pretty good. They have good players. The only thing that Fenerbahce lost is, as you know, you probably follow a lot of the news off season. Their player, Arda Güler, young prospect, went to Real Madrid, and he came to the United States. But as I always said, I've been saying this on my podcast, also on my Twitter handle, also on Facebook. Physically, he was not ready for Real Madrid. He should have stayed with Fenerbahce one more year, get stronger, work hard. But I think his father, his agent, and Arda Güler picked the easy road. And I think the money sounded right, sounded good. So they picked the money. Right now, Arda Güler is not even the roster. And most likely, he will probably not play at least for a couple months. As far as Fenerbahce losing another good player, Valencia, the top goal scorer in the Turkish Super Lig this past season, is gone. They will miss him. But I could tell you this, Dzeko and Dusan Tadic, are very good players. They will score a lot of goals. And I think the only team that close to Galatasaray about transferring many players, Fenerbahce is the second line. The Beşiktaş fans, as we talk, as we speak right now, are very mad, very upset, because the Beşiktaş team officials has not done any transfer, because they need a lot of players. And they have one striker, Abu Bakar. Cenk Tosun was injured, coming out of injured, and also his age, playing 40 matches in this season. It's going to be tough for Beşiktaş. Beşiktaş only got two players, Rebic, and also for defense from Ghana, Daniel Amarty. So if you figure this coming season, there's going to be African Cup tournament, and when your players going to go to African Cup tournament, and a lot of the teams in Turkish Super League are going to be hurting when those teams players leave the team. So Beşiktaş fans are uptight. They are very mad to the officials of Beşiktaş Club. We'll see what happens, maybe, but it's a little bit too late. The league will start this coming Friday, and we'll see what happens with Beşiktaş team. But as I could tell you, as a Beşiktaş fan, when I do this podcast, I don't compare any teams. I want to be realistic. I want to be a real person to give you all the information. I'm not biased. I just want to tell you this. But I think Beşiktaş has a long way capturing the title this season. Trabzonspor got a couple players. Orsic Misla, Tony Taklic, and Philip Bankovia. And also from Greece, Dimitrios Karbelis. And they also changed their stadium name. And they had signed a good deal with this company, Papara Park. They will call Trabzonspor Stadium from now on Papara Park, Papara Bank. I think it is bank. They will pay $1 million for next 5 years to Trabzonspor. Lastly, the team that is in a European competition this season, Adana Demirspor, hired world famous former player and now coach Patrick Kluivert. So Patrick Kluivert will be coaching Adana Demirspor in the Turkish Super League. Good luck to him. And Adana Demirspor, as you know, they're in the Europa Cup competition. They won their first second leg matches. They're playing tomorrow along with Beşiktaş and Fenerbahçe in the third round first leg matches. They only got Ndaya. Ndaya, as you know, played in Turkish Super Lig many years. He came back to Adana Demirspor. So it is pretty much good things happening. And let's see what happens during the season. But I could tell you one thing. If you ask me right now who's the biggest contender for the Turkish Super title, I would say Galatasaray. Right out. Galatasaray has the best team right now. Will they balance each other throughout the season? Well, they showed that yesterday, playing even without those stars playing in the on the pitch. They won their third round first leg match in Slovenia. They beat that team 3-0. So they have a pretty good shot at being in the Champions League. So let's get to the 2023-2024 season first weekend matches. As I said, the first match of the season will start on Friday. This coming Friday, Trabzonspor will be hosting Antalyaspor. On Saturday, there are 4 matches. Konyaspor will be at home against Istanbulspor. Kasımpaşa will host Ankaragücü. Kayserispor will host Galatasaray. Galatasaray, after playing yesterday's Europe qualification matches and in the road to a Champions League match, they will travel to Kayseri on Saturday to face Kayseri. Look for Galatasaray to win this match. The last match on Saturday, Pendikspor, the new team of Turkish Super Lig, will host Hatayspor. As you know, Hatayspor, because of what happened with the devastating earthquake, losing many people in Hatay, they will come to Istanbul and face Pendikspor. Sunday, there will be 3 matches. Sivasspor will host newcomer Samsunspor, and Adana Demirspor will be at home against Rizespor. Fenerbahçe will host Gaziantepspor, another team that did not play the rest of the matches last season. Gaziantep will face Fenerbahçe this coming Sunday. On Monday, there are 2 matches. Alanyaspor will host Başakşehir. Fatih Karagümrük will host Beşiktaş. As you know, Fatih Karagümrük also is from Istanbul team, Istanbul. So Beşiktaş will not have to travel so far. So there are still at least 8 teams in the Turkish Super League. And looking at the coaches, there are 3 foreign coaches, and the rest of them, 17 teams, are coached by Turkish coaches. And little notes about Erol Bulut, Cardiff City. He's the coach over there. Also, Turkish-born player İlkay Gündoğdu went to Barcelona, as you know. And the newcomers into the Turkish Super League, Pendikspor is coached by Osman Özköylü, which he is a former Turkish Trabzonspor player, now coaches Pendikspor. Samsunspor is coached by Hüseyin Eroğlu. Hüseyin Eroğlu, one of the coaches that gave Altınor the biggest name in the Turkish League 1. And Çaykur Rizespor is coached by İlhan Palut. But one thing here, Çaykur Rizespor came to a Turkish Super League with the coach Bülent Korkmaz, but they fired him, they let him go, and then they hired İlhan Palut. So, this is up. My 15 minutes up. Listen to my podcast, wherever you listen to your podcast, and always, every week, you will hear me on this podcast. Thanks. See you next time. Bye-bye.